a host. Oh, it says you started recording.
Okay, it's recording.
Yeah, started. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. I got to escape out of that. Let me just give me 1 second. And I'm going to introduce you. We'll follow up later, but we'll need just a little bio that I can read in the front end of the podcast. So none of that is going to be in this recording. So we're just going to dive right in. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Rytis, welcome to the show.
Hey, John. Thanks for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. Why don't we start off learning a little bit about you? Just give us a quick bio. Tell us what you're all about.
Oh, great question. Yeah, so I'm co-founder and the CEO of Omnisend. Omnisend is a marketing automation tool made for e-commerce. So basically, we serve everyone who sells online, and we help them to communicate with their existing customer base. So sending emails, text messages, web push notifications, Facebook Messenger messages, and synchronizing and running like retargeting ads or lookalike audiences on Facebook and Google. On Google Ads. So basically, this is the tool, and I'm one of two guys who co-founded this company. And yep, so e-commerce enthusiast, and as well as like serial entrepreneur. It's not my first business. I try to calculate it's my sixth company, sixth company, and the third startup attempt. So twice I failed, and that was kind of my story, that I had like more traditional business. Then I start like a startup and failed, and then get back to traditional business. And as Omnisend is a spin-off from digital marketing agency as well. So
that was going to be my question. So the other businesses, were they kind of related, or did you just kind of fall into the e-commerce space, or what led you there?
Yeah, so it was kind of related. Like, so previous business was digital marketing agency, so it was not like e-commerce, but we had like all variety of customers, when you're an agency. So we were developing like websites, Facebook applications. Some time ago, they were like extremely popular, as well as doing email marketing and then doing retention marketing for some of our customers. And some of them happen to be e-commerce sites, and that's how we saw this unique need and unique opportunities which those who sell online actually have to retain their customers and to communicate with their existing customer base.
Okay, so we want to focus. Obviously, this is an e-commerce podcast. We want to focus more on that part of your product. What was I going to say? So why don't you give us a quick rundown of what exactly Omnisend is and what it can do for e-commerce merchants? Just a quick boilerplate of the service that you provide to e-commerce merchants.
Yeah, so it's marketing automation tool. So like 2 years ago, I would call it email marketing tool, which how we started. Actually, we started 6 years ago, and initially it was email service provider. So basically newsletters, that was the beginning. Now we are omni-channel marketing automation tool. What does that mean? That a part of email, we have text messages, we have Facebook Messenger, we have web push notifications. All of those are in one tool. You can put all of those different channels on a single flow and communicate with your existing customers using those different channels, utilizing those channels, and really giving an opportunity for a customer to choose which is the most preferred channel for you as a brand to communicate with your customer base. So that's basically the thing. And of course, like automation is another crucial part, that instead of just running campaigns which you think your customers might want to see, like messages, basically listening to the signals your customers are giving to you, digital signals, if they're visiting the specific category pages, or maybe looking to that specific products, or maybe have not purchased already for some time, although they were purchasing in the past, etc. So basically listen to those signals and automate your marketing activities based on those signals. When you set up one time and then you sleep, and the tool does the job. So that's what Omnisend does for e-commerce marketers.
So when you talk about channels, when you refer to omni-channel, you're talking about the different communication channels that your customers can use to communicate with their customers.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and omni-channel there's a bit of difference, and we can like talk a bit about that. So like multi-channel, omni-channel, a lot of businesses and e-commerce businesses are already doing it in a multi-channel way. That means that we have different tools to say, let's say, send text messages and like send emails and run ad campaigns or like web push notifications. But like the true omnichannel experience, when you have all your customers' data in one platform and you can put those different channels on a single flow. So instead of like start bombarding John with 5 different, messages and throughout 5 different channels, you can put it like one by one. So like one of example can be abundant cart, which is the most popular automation, like by far, of our customers and globally in general. So we identify that John has abandoned the cart and left those products in the shopping cart. We send an email first. If our email is being ignored, we follow up by web push notification. If it's being ignored, we can follow up by, let's say, Facebook Messenger message, and then end up with text message or even like retargeting campaigns on Google or Facebook ads. So you can put it all in single flow and do it in the most customer-friendly way. You make campaigns much more relevant, much more friendly, instead of just starting bombarding your customers with different messages throughout the different channels. So that's the real omni-channel experience.
Yeah, that sounds great. I want to step back quickly and say, and ask you, who would your ideal customer be? Because when you look at your pricing, the pricing is very attractive, and you go from small to large. But who would you recommend to get involved? And I ask this because I think a lot of marketers are intimidated by they think these types of platforms are too complicated. How do you solve for that? And how do you get a let's call it a newbie merchant that really wants to up their game? They want to get away from just doing, MailChimp or something like that. How do you get them in? How do you bring them in?
Yeah, so very good question, and I'm happy that you mentioned MailChimp. So basically, yeah, this is exactly our sweet spot of those who have started like with MailChimp and they want to upgrade their marketing. So that's definitely for those we are a great fit. But we are a great fit for everyone, like from the beginner. As we started, like the platform started serving micro businesses, micro to small businesses. Now we are serving all the way to micro to mid-sized businesses. So from the beginner to we name it like up until like 20 million GMV. After that level, it's already like more really sophisticated enterprisey solution starts, but like from the beginning to like 20 million GMV. And what do you exactly mention? We have different pricing plans. So to reflect those tiers, if you are just the beginner, you can start with a free plan. Then we have a standard plan, which is very easy to learn, and that's what we try to build within the product, to have a really low learning curve and really flat learning curve that you could start utilizing these like very easily. But under the hood, we always have like advanced settings. If you're going to pro level, to enterprise, like pricing plan levels, you more and more features are being uncovered there, and that's our philosophy, how we build the product. Basic layer, very easy to use, very flat learning curve, and then you can find advanced settings, which makes a product really robust, where you can do great automations, in-depth analytics, and a lot of customization is under the hood, a bit hidden, let's say.
Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like you can keep it as simple or make it as complex as you want. And I think a lot of these tools suffer from, we try to do everything, but you're never going to be able to figure it out. And if you've kind of cracked that code where it's like, I'm just learning this tool, I just want to send a campaign out. I don't want to have to learn all these things. And if you guys make that a little simple, I think that's where you're going to win. When you look at MailChimp, and I know that everybody probably brings that up as an example because they're the big elephant in the room, and they're doing all of these new marketing tools, the landing pages and the mini site, the microsites, and all that kind of stuff. How do you compete against that? Now, what do you say to a customer that comes and goes, "Well, MailChimp"? Like, what do you say to them?
Yeah, so MailChimp is a great competitor to have, and we learn a lot of things from them. And they're elephant in the room. They are a pretty old company, like close to 20 years. So this is a great competitor to have and to learn from. But for our customers, so yeah, basically a couple of things. Like for the beginners, MailChimp is a great tool. So especially what you mentioned, they have landing pages. If you're just starting your online business, so MailChimp is a great option for you because you can run a mini site, even mini shop. They have now their e-commerce platform, like equally as their marketing automation platform or email platform. So this is very good for beginners. But once you grow, once you have like a bigger need to really sell better, to provide a better experience for customers, you need other e-commerce sites. You need platforms like Shopify, like BigCommerce, like WooCommerce, Magento, etc., which allow you to customize more than, let's say, MailChimp sites. And at that stage, Omnisend is really the option, because we have integrations, like seamless integrations with those platforms. It's so easy to connect, and we synchronize all the data needed. So at this point, like for the beginners, go with MailChimp. Once you grow, congratulations on that. We're happy that you grew, and definitely
Welcome
you
to the
will.
family.
Yeah, welcome to the family. You'll definitely migrate to another like e-commerce platform where we're coming into play to really serve you then.
Awesome. So you talk about where Omnisend connects to, and you mentioned Shopify and BigCommerce. Do you hook with Magento?
Yes, Magento, WooCommerce, yeah. Those
What
four
is
platforms. Yeah.
without giving away any secrets? What's your biggest what the percentage of connections via platform? What do you think that is?
Yeah, so biggest is it's Shopify. We have
Sure.
Open API, yeah. So second largest in terms of revenue are just homegrown or custom platforms, which larger online stores they sometimes still have. Then it's BigCommerce and WooCommerce. They are close to each other, and then it's Magento. Yeah, we're kind of emphasizing Magento more, but it's still kind of now it's the smallest chunk.
Yeah, I figured Shopify was going to be the answer, only because people who are growing from that, I've got the small site and I want to customize, I want to do something a little bit better. Shopify just makes it so much easier versus Magento or even WooCommerce, because WooCommerce is great, but then you have to know the whole layer of WordPress above that. And
Right.
Shopify is just like, you push a button, here's my store. So what's
Yeah.
the relationship with Shopify? Like, do they help you promote your product, or is it just like a open season in there and people have to do it by discovery?
Yeah, so it depends, right? Different seasons. Sometimes it's open season. Sometimes they help. Yeah, so we have like really good relationship with them, and we feel kind of being supported by them, which is great. So in general, like relationship is really good with the platform. But they kind of, let's say they want, and they are building like equal like conditions and opportunities for all the players in the market, and definitely we have competitors in the ecosystem, etc. So we kind of they're not pushing us and prioritizing us, but they are given opportunity for their customers. Okay, so those are like 3 or 4 tools which we recommend for you, so you choose on your own. But on Shopify App Store, we are among like top rated. We have more than 3,000 reviews there with that rating of 4.8 out of 5. So really good rating, and which proves that our customers are really happy with a product we managed somehow to build. So yeah, so that's how. So like getting back to a question, so it's a combination of both. So definitely Shopify helps us. At the same time, we are kind of we have to prove that we are the best solution against some other competitors.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the proof is in the pudding with the ratings there. So that's great for you guys. Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about personalization. Customers, they want that personal touch. They don't want the mass mail from the merchants. So how do you guys handle that? I mean, what are the challenges there?
Yeah, so I would take up a couple of like layers. So I would I would talk like about personalization like on two layers. So first layer is just like more basic personalization when you basically personalize by segmenting. So you know your customers, you like make some breakdowns and you build segments and you communicate with different like different messages to different segments of your customer base. So it's a first layer of personalization. Second layer of personalization is really automation, which really automation creates a lot of personalization. What does that mean? It's as we already talked about, you listen for the signals which your customers are sending you, like visiting, adding to shopping cart, removing products, spending that much or that little time on that product page, maybe navigating more in depth, etc. So based on all of those like activities, you can build automations, and that means that your message gonna be sent on the right time because you listen to the signals. Second thing, which like if you put like Omnisend, we have our own recommender, or we have integrations with tools like, let's say, Noster, where you can like add the recommended products from that category, either based on like personal behavior if you have enough data, or just category in general that people who bought this also bought that, or this is like top sellers in the category, or those are kind of similar products. So but it's just a second part of it. The content can be personalized in that way. We basically use like recommenders, which are based on the, again, on the signals and the data you have about the customer. And yeah, a third layer of personalization is like omni-channel approach, that you really, your customers choose the channel which they prefer you as a brand to communicate with them. So all that combined is really creates like already a great personalized experience for the end customer.
That sounds great. So let's talk about the customer. So that you say the customer can choose how they wish to be communicated with. So
yeah,
we all know the e-commerce buying experience, like sign up for the newsletter. Then suddenly the next day you're getting 2 emails a day. What's your advice to clients? Because sometimes it's like, I don't need to hear from you 4 times a day from that one thing that I'm probably going to buy only one time. Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, that's it's a science and an art at the same time. So that's a tricky question.
That's well said. It definitely is a science to it. I mean,
yeah. So yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was interrupting you.
Yeah. So my rule of thumb would be like, like deliver what you promised. I mean, if you promised that I'm going to send you a daily updates, so send the daily emails or text messages. If you promised that I will let you know, then we have some special offers. So definitely you don't have special offers every day. Or if the new arrivals comes, if you have those non-daily, that's okay. Communicate that. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. Getting more into details, so I would say a couple of things. First is really like, list different channels. Maybe you prefer email, maybe you prefer text message, maybe you prefer like web push notifications. So first thing, allow your customers to choose the channel. Second thing, really explain how and what you will communicate. Third thing is really again, like keep to what you promised to your customers. That is very, very important, and don't just bombard them with too many messages. And yeah, that is very important, I believe. And yeah, and why it's science? Because you have a lot of data, and like there is why reporting is needed. So you can analyze, okay, if I send like that many emails for that customer group, so what happens if I kind of send once per week, against if I send like twice per week, if I send on like daily basis, etc. What is the long-term impact? Because there is another thing, and in short term, maybe that sending like twice per day is highly profitable in short term. Unfortunately, it's highly likely. I mean, send twice per day, and for 1 month, you're going to have great conversions, great financial results. But what's going to happen? You just basically gonna kill your database in that way, because customers will start unsubscribing, reporting you as spammer, etc., and you're going to exhaust your database.
Yeah,
and
you're wearing
yeah.
the customer out. Like,
Yeah.
This happens all the time. I find a product, I order, I say, and I always look at it with a skeptical eye because I am in the business. And I say, I'm going to see how they're doing their marketing. And once that fire hose of emails comes, so then I'm getting the twice a day, fill out the survey, give us a rating. They're just hitting me too hard. And I just throw up my hands and I give up. And it's unfortunate. Do you provide guidance to your customers based on segments or categories? Like, would you say somebody who has a product that is frequently reordered, something that is reordered once or twice a month versus a shirt, or, you know, I don't know, just pick something else like a ruler. Like, you're only going to order a ruler maybe once a year. Do you give guidance to customers that way?
So we have a lot of resources on our blog and our resource center, like white papers, case studies, etc. All those things. It really depends. You know, it really depends, and there is no like single rule of thumb here, because, I mean, the ruler. Yeah, of course, you don't need extra ruler, but if we're talking about like small value things, which you can buy spontaneously. So, you know, definitely you will not need another ruler in 1 week, but maybe you can spontaneously buy something else, which maybe you don't even need that much.
Erasers.
So
we're keep it stationary here. We might as well go with the theme.
Yeah.
Go with the theme.
Yeah, razors, but scissors, whatever, you know, because I saw, oh, come on. I mean, just received an email and so great scissors for such a good price. Do I need a third scissors at my like office? Maybe not, but I want to buy those. So, you know, it's not that easy, and it's always like, you know, the communication. But in general, what I would say for all of us, like marketers, what we need to make a fundamental shift from thinking about campaigns to thinking about customer life cycle, customer lifetime value. So instead of just, again, I'm sending this campaign, doesn't matter if it's email, text message, and this is my ROI from the campaign. Yeah. So start thinking about the customer. This is my customer, and what is my ROI from the customer? So usually when you start thinking about the customer, what happens first purchase, usually it's it's a loss. Yeah, because to acquire the new customer for like Facebook, Google ads, you just pay so much, and it's a loss. So you need this customer to buy for like second time, maybe a third time, to become a profitable customer. And how to do that. So if you're like average buying cycle on your store, because you just sell shirts only, is 3 months, let's say, or 2 months. So you know that. So after a purchase, you can build segments around that. So show me the customers who have bought from me 3 months ago. And for this specific customer group, you can advertise much more heavily, because you kind of are sure that the customer is somewhere around the usual standard buying cycle, and maybe this is the time to advertise more, but not to do this, as you said, you know, 1 week after I have purchased shirt, to advertise me more and more shirts. I just don't need them now. Yeah. So yeah, again, so there is no kind of one golden rule to be applied, but definitely, you know, start thinking more about life cycle of a customer and how does it all go.
And as we always say, look at the data. The data will give you the answers. They always give you the answers.
Yeah, but you know what's really happening, and yeah, the other day we discussed with like colleagues at Omnisend. So the marketer, actually, what happens with the marketer nowadays? So like even a few years ago, like 10 years ago, marketing was all about creativity and about big ideas. Today's marketing is really all about Excel and about big data or small data, but it's all about data. So much less creativity and much more data analysis. So for some of the marketers, it's a really challenging thing, because they have started their careers with a creativity, and they thought that, okay, I'm going to come with the best copy, with the best image, and everybody will buy from me, which is still the case, having good images and good copy, but much more important to have good data, to really slice and dice good data, and like base your campaigns on the data. So, but that's, I would say, we as a marketers, as a profession, living like really like fundamental shift, which is currently happening from creativity to math.
Yeah, math is king. Let's stick with email for a second. Is email still the key channel? I know we're going to talk about SMS next, but is email still the key channel, the key sales channel for
Yep.
commerce marketers?
Yep, this is still the most effective channel. Absolutely. Yeah. So, what is important and what we really advocate here at Omnisend. So, email is still the king, but it has to be augmented, and then you augment email with other channels like SMS, messengers, etc. So we really get much better results. And we see like from our customer base, like online stores which have at least 3 channels, they see like up to 3 times better conversions comparing to those who just use 1 channel, even though it's an email, the most effective channel. But
Sure.
augmenting email with other channels, not replacing but augmenting, it's very important, I would say, those days.
So SMS is really hot right now.
It is.
The internet is definitely more mobile now, and I think everyone's on their phone all the time. We think it's a better customer experience in a lot of ways, where it's, hey John, we got new rulers, you click on the link here for 10% off. I mean, that gets me every time. It's like, hey, give me the carrot and the stick, tell me you got a great product, tell me you're going to give me 30-40% off, I'm in. Easy to get in, easy to get out. But I think a lot of customers, they may be hesitant to give you a phone number, robocalls, text spam, things like that. How do you work around that? How do you convince someone to say, yes, SMS is the way?
Yeah, so a couple of things here. First is, again, getting back to what I already said. So promise and keep your promises. So once you're asking for a phone number, so explain how you're going to use it. So we will be sending you no more than like 1 text messages per week. I'm sorry. It's going to be equally easy to unsubscribe from our text messages as it is easy to unsubscribe from emails, which is actually this is the case now, and I believe why SMS was kind of lost their reputation like 10 years ago or something, because that was just basically blasting and spamming. I mean, that was impossible to unsubscribe. Now, if you are in the US, you just basically reply with stop, and that's how unsubscribe. If you're outside US, what we do, like at least what we do at Omnisend, so we put the unsubscribe link in every lovely message. So basically, there is a short link, you receive the text message with ad. If you don't want to receive those anymore, 1 click, boom, unsubscribed, equally easy as you unsubscribe from email. So basically, explaining for customers, we will not overuse this channel. So no more than X amount messages per X amount of time. And by the way, it's going to be so easy to unsubscribe anytime that you decide that you don't want to hear from us anymore.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah, and it really angers me when I get caught in this thing and there's no way out. The merchant is not using best practices or using a shady service, and the unsubscribe is completely hard to find. It's not a good thing. I think it sours a lot of people, unfortunately, from using a good service.
But you can ruin like best services and best practices and best channels while applying like bad practices. So
yeah, there's always going to be abuse. There's always going to be abuse.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you guys use Messenger. Do you have pre-made scripts, or how does that workflow happen?
Yeah, so Messenger, like nowadays, it had much more capabilities before the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and then kind of they limited a lot. So now it is limited. So basically, what is very good for is for order follow-ups or for back in stock messages. So it's limited to 24 hours that you can communicate with the customer, or customer has to initiate the dialogue, and then you can follow up with promotional messages. So there are 2 ways. So your customer can subscribe online on your website, but this permission is valid only for 24 hours. So basically, it's something like back in stock, price drop, if you kind of have like dynamic pricing or things like that, or yeah. So it's a limited.
Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, or it's very good for, let's say, order follow-ups, surveys, NPS, like satisfaction service, etc. When someone purchases, so okay, just give us a permission, and we will inform you when your parcel is being dispatched. So instead of sending a text message, which a lot of stores do, save your money and send, if a customer subscribes, send a Facebook Messenger message, which is cheaper for you as a company. So
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame though. There's a love-hate relationship, I think, with people with Messenger. There's the I will never use Messenger and I don't have it installed and please don't ever bother me. And then there's people who are going, this is a very useful tool. This is how I communicate. But it's that happy medium. And I'm glad that they're kind of throttling it a little bit so that there's less of that abuse. So we don't wind up with what happened with SMS back in the old days with just the, the flood of messages.
Yeah, and I would say kind of Messenger went and Facebook by itself with WhatsApp and Messenger, as we own those two communication platforms. So it was like super liberal, and it was going maybe not the right direction, but now it's like extremely strict. So we kind of went radical, never the way around, but just like with a radical attitude.
It's not the Wild West anymore. That happens with every platform.
Yeah.
New platform, everybody's on it, everybody's using it, and then the people come on and figure out how to abuse it and ruin a good thing. Yep. So let's talk about Omnisend. How did you? So you guys started. How did you get your first customers? Like how did the company begin? What happened there?
So actually, like we piggybacked on the growth of hosted e-commerce platforms. So once we build a platform, we made a first integration that was with Ticktail, the platform which does not exist, which like finally was acquired by Shopify. We made integration with Ticktail, and we got a really great traction there. Then we made integration with Shopify, and then integration with BigCommerce, and that was like 6 years ago from now. So that was just the rise of those platforms. That they still had like tens of thousands of customers, not hundreds and not millions. So that was just the right timing to start this business, I would say.
Who would you say is your ideal customer? I mean, I know that you say you have customers of different sizes, but who's your ideal? Like, what's the dream customer for you?
Yeah, so for us, it's a couple of things. I would say like having more than 15,000 subscribers. It's where you can really play more with automation, where you can really build decent segments. This is below that. It's more kind of it's difficult. You build a segment and you find out that there are like 40 people in the segment. So would you invest like effort to create a custom content for 40 people? If they're your VIP customers, maybe, but if they're not, so definitely you will not do. Yeah, so at least like 15,000 subscribers where you can start like really do effective campaigns, and in GMV it's somewhere like from 1 million to 20 million. That's our like. We serve all of our customers. Those customers.
Sure, the ones that are on a growth curve and looking to grow and put more automation into their marketing.
That's correct. So that's for this customer group, we create the most value, and of course they're willing to pay for us because we create value for them. So.
Right, exactly. So how do you market? Do you guys eat your own dog food and use your own product to get new customers? Like, how do you do that?
Email and all the channels we are providing for our customers, they are channels made for retention. So you have to have a consent and a permission from the customer to communicate. So basically, that's we would love to. I mean, we eat a bit of our own food, but it's not for growth. It's for retention, for keeping customers. So like we have webinars and some like trainings, etc. So definitely we communicate by email to our existing customer base. But we have newsletter for existing customers. But new customers. So it's like app stores, so like add-on stores or marketplaces, how we call on those platforms, which I mentioned: Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento, Woo. There. One thing, another, SEO is big for us. Content marketing is big for us. So really, creating great content, a lot of like unique content. We have a lot of data about our customers. We have tens of thousands, like more than 60,000 online stores, and a lot of emails sent, a lot of SMS is sent. So we analyze a lot and we provide some infographics and some data, etc. So yeah, so content, app stores, partnerships. We are like working a lot and investing heavily now, like on channel partnerships. So basically agencies, and we work with agencies who build online stores, and we help them to facilitate their customers better with their marketing automation efforts.
Great
So
answer.
those are
No
our main.
billboards, huh? No billboards.
Yeah, no billboards.
Blimps, no
Actually,
blimp.
yeah. Actually, I that was kind of a crazy idea with marketing team. Other day we were talking, maybe we just have to buy one billboard for like 1 week just to tick the box that we
In San
did
Francisco
billboards.
somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. We did billboards.
So let's. The company's bootstrapped, right? You guys
Yeah, that's
do
correct.
any raising or taking investors, or how you handling that?
No, not now. Yeah, so not now. We are bootstrapped, and this is kind of a way, the path we took from the beginning. Now we are, I would say, already pretty decent business, and like, yeah, 80 people, and like more than 12 million in annual recurring revenue, and growing quite fast, etc. So and I like really bootstrapped thing, because in our philosophy, bootstrap means that you are being funded by your customers, the customers which every lovely month can bring their money back and just make a decision not to fund you anymore because you are not providing a valuable service for them. So this is kind of what makes you as a company, and every employee of the company, to really think about how to provide the best value for the customers, because they are voting and they're investing into your company with their own money. So yeah, and no, we are not looking forward to raise. I mean, I'm not saying like no, maybe someday in the future, but at least not in 2020.
No, that's great. That was a great answer. So what are the with your growth, what are the biggest challenges you have right now?
Um, yeah, so to satisfy all of your customer needs.
Good one. Good one. So what you got any new features on the drawing board with Omnisend? Anything
Yeah,
to
so
reveal?
yeah. So what we could just revealed. So it's advanced reporting. So really in depth for pro and enterprise customers. So really in depth, and great reporting. So you can analyze more data than you could before. So and make good decisions. So this is a huge novelty on the platform. Second thing is. We just rebuilt from scratch our automation editor, like introduced split automation, so we can write unlimited variety of automation tests, A/B testing, and like split campaigns, if this then that, and if this then that, etc. So that's just released, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, what is upcoming? Send time optimization is upcoming. Improved recommender, we have one, but we really want to improve that. So yeah, so we kind of constantly improving the product.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So as the date of this recording, we're going through the COVID-19 crisis, and it's a strange time for everyone. Is there any advice or any strategies that you'd impart to some e-commerce merchants? Is there anything they should be doing differently now? And I'm not talking about your tone, like we're with you in this difficult time, but is there anything that merchants should be, because everyone's tired of that? Is there anything that any advice you'd give to merchants now in their marketing?
So what we see like from our customer base, and what I would recommend is really to focus more on your existing customer base, rather than try to attract new. And this is kind of a trend we see, that customers, they're willing more to spend more money on brands and services, or like online stores, which they already know. So they kind of a bit less risk taking. So if I find like the product they need on the store I know, I prefer buying from them over to maybe a bit better price, but somewhere else, which I don't know. So really think over again about how can you better communicate with your existing customer base. So right, a lot of money there. If you just new, of course you don't have this base, so it's another challenge. But if you are in the business for a while, so definitely do that. So that would probably be my key advice.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think now is not a time to do blatant, straight up marketing to people. It's just a weird time all around. So we're going to talk about you. I understand that you're into personal development. I've dabbled myself. You got any tips for staying sane while running a startup? Is
So
it a
probably
loaded question? You could just take it in sections, or you could just give me your guru advice, whatever you got.
good advice. So yeah, so I would say initial thing is really I hope if you're running a startup, any kind of startup or any kind of business, so initially you have to like what you do, and the money should not be the key driver. It's important, any business is being built to earn money, yeah, to create value for owners, but you just have to like and enjoy the journey itself. So that's probably the first thing. The second thing is really what helps to me. I'm really a social person, so I like spending time with friends and just going out, and that's the way I relax. Another thing which I love doing is reading. I really love reading books, so I try to read at least 1 hour per day, both professional and just fiction. I love fiction as well. So that's kind of things, and having great team around you, it's one of the things which really helps you to love the journey. So I believe that's very important.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So what advice would you give an entrepreneur or a startup right now? What's the best tip you can give someone? They've got an idea. What would you tell them to help them move their idea forward?
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. I love it. That's true.
Yeah.
The answer I usually get is build an MVP and just do it. But you just cut to the chase and said, just do it. Another question for you. What would you do if you weren't doing this?
I don't know.
You don't know? This is all I've ever wanted.
No, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I always have more ideas than time to, and it's I feel that probably I got to the point where I'm able to focus myself to what I'm currently doing, instead of having 10 other ideas running simultaneously in your head, which is really a huge distraction from the key thing you should be focusing at that particular time. So yeah, so being honest, so a lot of ideas which are coming and going, so I cannot really answer this question honestly.
I struggle with I think, okay, if money was no object and I could do anything, what could I do? And I have 10 different ideas, and I couldn't even imagine. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a hard question to answer for some people.
So what can I say? What can I say? So I would run the business probably. So at least I'm 37 now, so I still feel that I have a lot of energy, and I find a lot of self satisfaction and a lot of creativity in building and running business. So would I want to sell the company and retire now? No, I would not want. No, not at this point, not yet.
I don't think, everyone's, when you're younger, you're thinking, I'm just going to make a lot of money and retire. And that only, the people who do that for about a month. And then they if you're bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, or you love the hustle, you get about a month of that, and then you're back to work doing something else. So
yeah, that's true.
All right. I got one last fun question. What was the last thing you bought online?
Jabra Panicast, the magic 180-degree camera from meeting rooms, etc. Just delivered to my doors a couple of hours ago.
Oh, nice. So you're probably over there staring at it, going, "I want to crack this thing open and play with it." I love new toys.
Yep.
Love new toys.
Yep.
All right, Rytis, this is the time where you give your shameless plug. You can give out URLs and tell people where to find you, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So the company which I'm building, so Omnisend. So definitely that's for anyone who's selling online, really, I'm inviting to check us out. So omnisend.com, this is the best way. You can sign up there for free trial and even free version, and yeah, you can just basically play by yourself. If you're a bit larger customer and you're willing to go like for a sales process, so definitely you can book a demo and the call and talk to our sales executives. So both paths are available there. And the person myself, so I love LinkedIn and Twitter. So Rytis Lauris, both on LinkedIn and Twitter, so we can connect.
All right.
On any of those social networks.
And I will put this information in the show notes. And we spell your name Rytis, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And
Rytis.
Lauris, Rytis Lauris.
That's correct.
Rytis, it was great having you on the show.
Thanks, John, for inviting. Really pleasure to talk to you.
Same here. We'll have you back again if you get some updates on Omnisend.
Absolutely, will do. Thanks.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.
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 All right. That was really good. Very good, sir.
Thank you, John. Yeah, really.
I stopped recording and hope that it recorded everything. So just to follow up, we just need a bio from you and a headshot that we can use for our social media. This will probably be out in 2 or 3 weeks. But we didn't do anything timely on here, so that probably doesn't make a difference. But what I can do is go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I will send a follow-up message and include my colleague Carolina, so she will send out the bio and.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Great interview. I think that's it. You're off the hook.
Perfect.
Go play with your new camera. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.